Financial blessing for eFirm, the ETF, and the price. Hey, and welcome to Crypto. Exciting news about the eFirm ETF. Let's dive right in. Let's check out a few wallets to see what's going on right now. And we're taking another look at Bitcoin because the US states have continued to comment on it, as well as further votes regarding the topic of Bitcoin reserves in the US. And at the end of the video, we'll also take a quick look at what's happening in America because I believe the trade war is just getting started. Here's my outlook and my conclusion, all in this video. And if you're only interested in certain topics, check out the timestamps. And a little note on my own behalf. Every day there's a short on the channel. News about cryptocurrencies, but also about politics in the US because they're currently influencing the prices a bit. So feel free to check out the shorts on our social media channels, Instagram, TikTok, and also here on YouTube. Feel free to check it out and now enjoy the video, or rather on the topics. And we start with the big topic, namely 21 shares. This is BlackRock, and you always have to keep that in mind. So these are the products from BlackRock suggesting to expand its Affirm ETFs to include staking. What does it mean to expand to include staking? To be honest, expanding to include staking in this case means that you have the option to add staking here, which means all the people who are invested in this ETF, you're Affirm then. So in this case, you invested a sum, X, and for that sum, X, you received X Affirm. And these X Affirm will then be put into staking. And for those X Affirm that you bought, I realize there's way too many X's for sure. For those X Affirm that you staked, you'll also receive your X returns, meaning staking rewards. And that could then be paid out like a dividend once a year, or even monthly. There is no agreement on that yet. It is still in the planning stage. Testing how this whole thing works, because it also has to go through the SEC, which of course has to approve everything. So that doesn't mean they're just saying we're adding staking here. There also needs to be some kind of approval. Overall, this is positive for the whole Ethereum ETF topic, but also for the Ethereum price. We're seeing that here. It has risen by 7.5% after this announcement. And many have asked me, where did you get your source from? So I have several sources, but I think the most well-known one I've seen was from Watch a Guru. That's why Watch a Guru posted it. I was actually just waiting for an article about it. But you can see some really interesting things in the comments here. Yes, besides weird videos and pictures. We saw here that, so here's the next page. I think this is also a news site. Exactly. That many people here in the comments if you scroll down further and don't want to see those weird videos I just showed. When you go there, you can see that many people immediately mentioned Solana, Cardano, and other proof of staking projects. I think AVAX was also mentioned, but with very few comments that these will of course also be taken into account. They might be considered if they say, look, that's already there. The topic of ETFs is in the air. Solana and XRP could be the next ones. Yes, XRP is not proof of staking, but maybe Cardano and Avalanche could be the next candidates, like in the ranking, Solana, XRP. While many still say yes, XRP is actually higher than Solana, but I think Solana is just more interesting in terms of applications. And XRP for investing.com. So you can now, thinking about what makes more sense, but Solana has really made a huge leap. That's why I think it will be Solana first, then XRP, or both together. Then the discussion is immediately over. So, they will be next in line. And then, yes, it could be Cardano and possibly Avalanche. Then, more proof of staking could be added there. And these could, of course, also be expanded to include staking and achieve a return. Let's take a quick look at the company's stock. It doesn't look so great overall. And here we have the all-time high. I saw in some video that it shifted a little bit. Maybe you can see that up here. It's a bit away from the green line there. But that's not the all-time high. That's up there. But that's the last high from last year, or rather the last one we've seen. And since then we've fallen from exactly this, we've also fallen a bit again. We can see that here if we don't double click, but instead take the high from up here. And if we take the lowest point here, it's almost back. 47.57%. That's crazy, but we know that on the way up, there are always pullbacks, and we've seen that here. In general, if we draw a regression channel here, many people always ask me, how does that work? It's that simple. If we look at the whole thing, the crypto market is currently quite calm, especially the altcoin market. and the company stock, yeah, it's very quiet, and you can really tell that the gas fees, meaning the transaction costs for the company, are currently very low. And that actually shows that not much is happening right now. So DeFi and especially meme tokens are more likely to be played on, for example, Solana. Even with Harry Bills, I explained it to you in a short video, it was once again a meme token that had also made quite a bit of profit on the company's stock. So it's currently quite calm and rather not much is happening right now. But if you take a look at the transactions around the company, it's quite interesting. Let's first dive into BlackRock. We just talked about BlackRock, so let's dive into that. BlackRock sent away a total of 600 Bitcoin 2 hours ago, but also 2.653 million USDT. That actually means that they will probably buy something here again with building customers, or rather building customers. Then they have 250 Bitcoin 208, 68 Bitcoin and Pattern 45, 4,045. Here, about, let's say Ethereum has been added here within the last 2 days. Now, you have to be honest. Most people always say, that's not it. BlackRock's wallet? No, that's not 100% BlackRock's wallet, but it's also the wallet of all the ETFs that are being consolidated here. And if we take a look at this, if we dive in, we can see that there are now 1,337 million Ethereum or Ethereum, 85,000 Bitcoin, almost 586,000 Bitcoin. So we can see that there's already a lot going on. Things are really heating up here with what's being accumulated, but of course also through the ETFs. And then it also continues to the other cryptocurrencies they have. And there we see some different ones. But you have to be honest, many will just be sent to them because a lot of people are looking at this BlackRock wallet. And when it says there, here was SPX or Colle or some weird stuff, in addition to that, many people say, oh, this must be the next cryptocurrency that's going to take off, so I'll buy it. You have to be careful because a lot of it is just sent to them. For example, this isn't even mostly listed here, but then in the portfolio, if you take a look at it. And when you scan the BlackRock wallet here through Arkham, you can see that they are just being sent to them. Just like it is with Vitalik Buterin, who simply gets sent every meme token. And everyone says, oh, if Vitalik has this meme token on his wallet, then it must take off. But by now, people have understood how this works and aren't like they used to be. But it used to be like that. Then let's take a look at the Affirm Foundation, because it doesn't just mean that a lot of people are buying right now. Because of this announcement, for example, or generally being bullish on Affirm, it's the Affirm Foundation that says, we want more decentralization. That's why we're selling Affirm. And look, what are they doing right now? 1,000 Affirm 3 hours ago, 50,000 Bitcoin 5 days ago. And in general, if you look back here, they've been selling repeatedly, as we've seen in the last 3 months. So the foundation is actively continuing to sell. And similarly here, strange things are being sent to them. Look here, a USDT. These are all things that are also being sent here again to attract attention, because everyone then says the foundation is selling again. There is this selling plan, but 50,000 companies that were just sent here or sent away, it's definitely not without its issues. You have to be honest about that. You start to wonder, what's going on there? Why are they selling? And that's why this is obviously a wallet that many people are looking at. If you look here, you would need to send a cryptocurrency that has a value of, let's say, $2,500. If you do that, you just send it here, then you go through rep. The firm, then it ranks 4th. And if it's somehow a meme token that you think could take off, then everyone says, look, they got sent that. Even in 4th place. It must be interesting and important, and already people are looking for it. So, you see, these are mostly some cryptocurrencies that are being sent here. Often, the value is very low here at 2 cents and so on. That's why don't let yourself be swayed by the whole cryptocurrency scene, but rather focus on the companies repi. The companies, I don't even know why there's so much BNB there. Maybe it's also a marketing campaign from BNB. I haven't really been following that. Well, what's interesting here is what's happening. Ash Crypto is a trading platform with 1.5 million followers. And he has a large number of customers, 1.6, even 1.6 million followers on XAT. And he has published a list here. I believe you can also see the wallet addresses in his Telegram group. It was said here that within the last 72 hours, companies worth 442 million have been accumulated. And all of this from 2 wallets that have bought over 170,000 companies in total. This is what it looks like. And these were accumulated here. And now comes the big surprise. And now you have to ask, what does that look like? Because that was before the BlackRock announcement. I don't know if you want to accuse anyone directly, but before the BlackRock announcement, maybe they knew something or they just accumulate more often. But if you look at the wallet addresses, the accumulation was very small, before very low, and suddenly there's such a large amount. Well, everyone can think what they want, but these are all things that you can't hide on the blockchain. You can't hide anything. We can see everything. So if you do nonsense there, we see everything. We see everything. We find everything out. If it's large amounts, then of course it gets reported. If you say now that you want to buy cryptocurrencies, then check out our partner CoinEx. CoinEx has now listed over 1,000 cryptocurrencies, and you can easily deposit and withdraw money here through trading with third parties, whether it's depositing, or you can also withdraw using various payment options with different currencies like euros, for example. And there you can deposit using Vitalik, MasterCard, Apple Pay, banks, and SEPA. With their simple swap function for your over 1,000 cryptocurrencies, you can easily do it here, exchanging cryptocurrencies just like on a DEX. No matter which one you want to swap here, and you always see the cutest swappers here right now. Of course, you can also easily buy spot here. And you can hold these in your wallet at CoinEx and also send them to your hardware wallet, no problem at all. It's really simple here with CoinEx. You can do futures trading. If you say, futures trading sounds interesting, I'd be into that, but I don't want to do it myself. Copy trading is also available, as well as demo trading. I haven't logged in for a long time. It would definitely be interesting to know where I stand again. You get 50,000 test USDT here and can just try it out. Can you also be successful here with demo trading? Additionally, new users also get an extra 100 USDT. You have to complete small tasks and you get additional cashback if you click on the link in the video description or the link below. Use the pinned comment. Then you support our work and you receive a little cashback at CoinEx. Also, check out the exchange CoinEx with many cryptocurrencies and easy deposit and withdrawal options. Yesterday, it was that time again. The inflation figures from the USA were out and they weren't so good. Let's check it out and take a look. We saw that the forecast was at 2.9 and it has risen to 3%. And higher inflation means that interest rates are likely to stay high. High interest rates mean that little capital is being raised anew. Speak. The financial, crypto, and stock markets are not being supported further, meaning with new money, it's being flooded. So that means high interest rates are not good. But Donald Trump wants low interest rates. Let's dive right in. By the way, I always find it funny that there's a peak in inflation at investing.com. Of course, that's not good, but a peak in prices and forecasts and so on. That's obviously good. That's why green is automatically set as the color for going up, which should actually be red for inflation. But it's obviously an automatic tracker here. Yes, this high inflation is obviously not good. And the Federal Reserve is not going to lower interest rates because they will keep them high to prevent the expansion of the money supply from continuing. In other words, to limit new loans, to curb inflation a bit, because more money equals more inflation. We know the whole game, even if economists say otherwise, but it's a very simple calculation. And yes, there are still many factors more, but that's one of the biggest factors. Yes, but Donald Trump wants interest rates to be lowered so that new money comes into the market so he can expand his projects. And that, of course, also means that investments in general are being made, for example, in America, because he wants to, make America great again. And all of this has, of course, initially caused the crypto prices yesterday, to be honest. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, to not react very well. We saw that too. If we go further in here, we see yesterday. Today we have a red candle. Yesterday we had a green candle after all the statements on the whole topic, but today it's a red candle. Why, how? I'll explain that to you at the end of the video. So, you saw it, today it's red again. But as I said, there's an explanation for that. Then there was the statement. Because after such inflation figures, there is always a hearing held immediately for Jerome Powell or the Federal Reserve. Why, how, what can we do? Do you have a position on that? And in this position, he said, we don't want to stand in the way of the banks. It's completely legal to offer Bitcoin and crypto to the customers. To offer, or rather to serve these customers, that's a positive sign, I would say. There were positive statements, and that was one of them. And when the banks want to tackle the topic of Bitcoin and crypto, then they obviously have to first add Bitcoin to their balance sheet, or rather their portfolio, into their banks. And that has been done here, namely the National Bank of Canada has Bitcoin ETFs, in this case through an ETF, been purchased for $2 million, bought US dollars. It's definitely interesting here. Canada is still its own country. Who knows what will happen in the near future? In any case, we've seen that this topic is becoming more and more interesting. Bitcoin at the banks in the USA could be an interesting topic. The Volksbank is also there in Germany. Pioneers. You can be curious about what will come in the near future because so far Bitcoin, I would stay away from it if you ask your banks. But that also changes over time. What is also changing over time is the topic of Bitcoin reserves in the USA, and New York has now been added to the map. And we should be very curious about which state will be added last here. I think it's almost up there, Alaska. But there is already a negative vote because this is the map for all states. The Bitcoin was already mentioned in their meeting in the vote, and so on. That doesn't mean that all these states are in favor of it. A very important topic because the map looks like this. ND has already voted against it. The others are still being introduced, so they're already in it, the greens. And the yellow ones, they are still being processed in the voting process. But we see that NJ is now involved. This is an older New York, NJ. NY, not J. NY has been added here. We can see that here, up here, the tip is included as well. It hasn't been updated on the map yet, or rather, I just took a picture and not the link to it. Yeah, that's how it looks. So everything is moving forward and progressing. Yeah, and then I had you all. Yeah, it mentions that the topic of a firm is also an interesting subject at World Liberty Finance. The project where Donald Trump lends his name, I still claim to this day that it's probably his son, but he himself has no idea what's going on with it. And they had added companies. We've already reported on that, or rather, I keep mentioning it in shorts. And they have in total, besides Move, also interesting, they are adding Move here. And they have purchased companies worth $5 million and $500,000 from Move. So here, Move, yeah. Then Move up, I mean, moved. Yes? Anyway, those are all the news we have at the moment. Now, I owe you just one answer because I mentioned it in the video. And, of course, I'll explain that to you. Or rather, I'll tell you what's going on here. Today is a red day. Let's dive into the stocks. They're about to start. Let's start with Meta and Coinbase. I mean Coinbase, of course. Coinbase is starting higher, probably. Google is a bit higher. Microsoft is a bit higher. No, Microsoft isn't higher. Tesla. Apple a bit lower. Then let's take a look at Netflix. Actually, it's uninteresting for us. The DAX started higher, the DAX anyway. What's going on with the DAX? Can someone explain that to me? We're just before an election, no one knows where it's really headed, and the Minister of Economy is catastrophic, overwhelmed. But he's not going to stop governing anytime soon, he just stops being the Minister of Economy. No idea. The DAX, it hits a new all-time high every day. I must have missed something. We do have an economic crisis, just like everyone says. Yes, and the DAX keeps rising and rising and rising. But we know that what goes up will also come down. Yes, it definitely doesn't look that bad. Also Coinbase. Coinbase, not Coinex Coinbase, the crypto stock next to Microsoft. That's more of the Bitcoin stock, starting a bit higher. So this could lead to us seeing a small breakout in Bitcoin when we look at the hourly chart. But today, right now, long story short, when you take a look at it, you immediately have opinions about the whole chart. Overall, yes, it's another red day after it was a bit more positive yesterday. For crypto, we see a red candle in the daily chart for Bitcoin, simply explained. And here's also an article or a statement from Trump that Watcher Guru has picked up. And today, the big topic is mutual tariffs. Yes, and that actually explains again that the topic of the trade war continues. So, he has imposed additional tariffs on aluminum and stainless steel, or rather, staking in general. That could be very interesting for the near future, but we know that the EU will most likely resist it. So, why is that? The trade war is in full swing. I'm very curious. At the end of the day, Donald Trump wants to isolate everything a bit. So the USA, basically, let me explain, watch out folks, what others supply to us, we can also produce ourselves. That's why what others supply, there are now more tariffs. And then you have to find your own solution in your own country. So staking is maybe 10% cheaper and we put 25% tariffs on that. And then you buy it 10%. More expensive here in your own country and even save on delivery stuff. It's crazy what's going on. But this trade war will keep us busy for a few more days. And as I always say on Telegram, I try to keep politics out of it as much as possible, but we have to be honest, it's still determining the crypto and financial market. We're still hoping that at some point, the decoupling of the S&P 500 from Bitcoin, which are still very strongly correlated, will happen. But I think that will take a little longer. Maybe in this bull run, when we eventually see Bitcoin at 200,000 and even more. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all these topics and maybe also on this one. Bitcoin in 2025-26. What do you think? Where can it go? Feel free to write it in the comments. I'd be interested to know. And of course, the topic of Affirm, what's going on right now. Can you imagine that staking will be added to the ETFs? I mean, it's an incentive to keep pumping money in, or to say, hey, if my potential price increase comes for Affirm, then I can also get an additional return through staking. Why not? So there will be many. Those who find that interesting. In this sense, I'd love to hear your opinions on all the topics. Remember, we have a free Telegram group and all the links, you know the drill, check everything out in the video description or all the links in the link tree. In this sense, thank you very much for watching and see you in the next video.